Hey everybody, welcome to episode 14 of Around the Verse. I am Sandy Gardner, and there is no Ben Lesnick here, as you can see, because we are trying something different. We are going to have rotating hosts. So it could be Will, it could be James, it could be Ben, not sure. Arena V.9 launched and it was 14 gigs of change, so we hope you are enjoying the leaderboards, the racing mode, the co-op, and lots more other goodies. The M50 commercial was also released and I thought it was super cool. I'm assuming that you've all seen it, but if you haven't, please check out the link below in the show notes. An updated Arena Commander manual is also available. The team worked hard on a 13.0.1 patch which was deployed over the weekend, and now they are working on 13.1. So they work really hard, these guys. It's kind of crazy. The QA team works all hours of the weekend to get things out for you, so have patience. We hope to have private matches back online again soon, and we also hit the $53 million mark, which means we release the Independent Arbiters Guild. I'm not sure who's putting their hand up for that, but I am certainly not. Subscribers were given the locker from another universe, and I hear there's some kind of Easter egg in there, so I should go check that out. CitizenCon tickets have sold out, and we look forward to seeing you guys. There is going to be 400 of us total, and about 100 devs, including press. Also, Jessica has organized a cool photo booth, and Ben is putting some cool green screens in the backdrop, so that'll be fun. Now it's time for news from around the verse. Arena Commander. This week we kicked off the push to V1.0. This is a really big step in the game, so have some patience with us. Before that, we put out patch 13.1, which will add lots of customization and a lot of other fixes. We finished working on the breathing manager, which I spoke to the devs, and that's breath sounds that react to G-forces. And we began integrating the Mustang Alpha and its variants. We worked on the concept for the signature and missile systems. Right now, I am also working on a custom Star Citizen HOTAS that takes about 12 months from start to finish, so I hope to keep you guys informed on the progress of that. Squadron 42. Major focus on the landing system, including a focus on fighter landing gear. Working on zero-G interaction, including grabbing surfaces. Schumann grayboxing on the refinery, landing area, and gantry arm, which I had to ask what that was. Apparently it's some automatic arm that goes and grabs things and comes back. That's not. Persistent Universe, planetary traffic control system. Art is building everything from combat drones to decorative sculptures from the Terra landing zone. Lots of work with the team at Moon Collider to get our AI roadmap for the PU right. Yeah, those guys are a very talented team of 3. They're like geniuses. I've spoken to them. I'm like, what are you saying? And we're working on the very first live demo of the PU. Expect more information on that soon. A lot of focus on nailing down the ship components pipeline, building guns, missiles, engines, scanners, and more. Finished the concept of the final Mustang variant, which I'm quite excited about that. Kicked off the development of the Anvil Carrack concept here in Santa Monica with our very own Gurmuk. And we sat down to plan out the Avenger variants. I know you all harass me about that. I don't know about anybody else, but I get harassed about that. So we are working on the Avenger variants, and more information soon on the release of those. So I bet you guys are as curious as I am because there's so many posts that go up on the forums. Let's go over to William to see who the most valuable post is.
Hey everybody, I'm lead moderator Will, here to bring you this week's MVP. This week's MVP goes to Darkin for his Trader's Guide. He's collected all the information from the Galactic Guides and created an informative and easy to read graph. So thank you very much, Darkin, you're this week's MVP. But before we go, I'd like to remind you that we're still looking for signatures for the LEGO Hornet. If you haven't stopped by and supported, please do, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you, William. I learn something new all the time, and it's good to see that the forums are not exploding because of our nice moderator volunteers and William. Now let's go over to Foundry 42 in the UK and see how they handle bugs.
And now, Bug Smashers, British edition, brought to you by CIG.
Okay, hi everyone. We're the QA team at Foundry 42, and we're just going to talk a little bit about what we do.
Generally, there's some bugs that you just literally start the game up and it'll crash, or start game mode, it'll crash. Quite relatively boring kind of things, but very important nevertheless. And there's other ones, such as, you know, when you try and respawn in last damage states that the 300i has been played with recently, where you literally can't. But then you can carry on controlling your ship and flying around, look at everyone else, and fly through geometry. And then there's other ones where you can literally eject and become invincible, and you can go and stand on people's cockpits and start doing squats right there, getting your leg game on. And Andy's very good at this. You love your bonnet squats.
You talk about that instance at Capture the Core when he stood on top of your actual cockpit and was staring down at you.
Yeah, his deadly eyes.
That's amazing.
I loved it.
But I genuinely find an issue. What we'll do is we'll try to reproduce it. So like we'll sort of sit there and say, right, what caused this? What particular thing that we did would have made this happen? So in the case of like with the 300i, when you could try and eject but it wouldn't happen, you get stuck in it. Like with that issue, it was very much a case of why was that happening, and then I think one of you guys figured out once the engine goes off, that's what triggers it. So we have to narrow down what happens to get these bugs to occur, and then we'll report them and they'll get sent out to the team and fixed.
The biggest challenge that because we weren't used to this at all in our previous jobs, was like pure multiplayer network testing. Trying to get everyone to do the same thing at the same time and reproduce stuff is quite a challenge. We're always on headsets, like communicating with each other second by second. Can get frustrating at times. Danny.
Danny, come over here. Bang.
A lot of it is just trial and error. Like, you might not get it every time, but you do enough repros that you can say that you know a percentage that it's going to happen, and it's just as much information you can give to the devs. Sometimes they'll send some back looking for more information, so then we'll go back in and try and get as much information as we can. That big issue with the rubber banding that took us like 2 weeks to kind of do continuous testing.
That network testing was the worst.
We got gradually better and better at it,
the rubber banding.
But then it did take up a lot of our time to kind of narrow it down.
It was one of those instances where like the whole company had to kind of work together on that one, because it was not just us. We had all the tools guys. We had just a bunch of people giving us new things to test. Austin, Texas, helping out as well. Everyone was hammering this bug, and it just lingered for so long. But then we got to the root of it, and it all got fixed up in the end. But it was one of those instances where like no matter what we tried to do, it was just hanging around. But then, I don't know, probably making games is everyone sort of assumes it's like making a house, you know, but it's more like making a house of cards, where you take one card out and that's it. It'll all come crumbling down.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems we have with these deadlines, of course, where we're saying, you know, 2 weeks till the next deadline, and then we'll miss it, obviously. But the reason will be, like, we had this bug and it just didn't go away for the longest time, and yeah, there's not a lot we can really do about it.
It's weird because the smallest change can affect the game so much. So just one small texture change on a model could cause a ripple effect on other areas, and it would just be a massive game-wide bug then.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. We're UK QA. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen of what we do and some of the bugs we've found. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again at some point soon.
See you later.
Ciao. Bye.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bug Smashers. Today we have a special crash in the editor. Bug Smashers! This was a bug where if you start shooting, all of a sudden you'll just blow up and lead a call stack into where the lights get released. It was kind of a confusing one, but our graphics programmer Oka was able to narrow it down, and I'll show you how he did it. Hey everyone, I'm inside the editor, and we're going to try to see if we can track down that bug. Luckily, we have some information that if you get near Hornet here and you start shooting, you will crash. So let's hop into the game, wait for everything to boot up. Shaders are compiling, so you'll see things pop in. It's normal for dev builds. And you get some fun, funky effects. You guys will never see this, but we do anytime we update our shaders. Alright. So let's shoot. Oh, that was quick. Crashed pretty much instantly. Alright, let's take a look. So we're crashing whenever we are clearing out a light. So when the light is dissipating, it's trying to clear out all its resources, and inside the shader seems to be complete garbage, and the pointer is trashed. Not a fun bug, because this doesn't really tell us anything of why we're crashing. Lucky for us, our graphics programmer, Oka, has already traced down the problem. Oka! And what he has found is in this little block of code, it's his new stuff that we added to basically add lens flares onto particles. We use this for all sorts of things, from muzzle flashes to shield impacts, where we have like a nice bright spot that pops up. And it seems anytime you add these muzzle flashes to a light, your chances of crashing increase. And the reason why, if we use this little, compile, I have this little code here provided by Oka, which will actually show the ref count of lens flares from the particle, and we're going to see something quite interesting. Delete the AI, hop in the game. Alright, so let's stay in first person and shoot a little bit once the HUD. There we go. Oh, happened too fast. But if you noticed, I'm sure you guys can rewind it or go slow. On the very top left, there was a little ref count pointer. Let me explain what a ref count is first of all. Let's pretend that I tell some part of the engine that I have created this cup. Now, I created this cup and I send it on its way hoping that it's still going to be there sometime later. I come by and I grab the cup, except there's nothing in the cup this time. Well, the game will just crash at this point because I believe there's a cup there. I tried to get the cup and there was no cup, so boom, crash. That was the thing you saw earlier. So we have to tell the game, hey, I created this cup, trust me, add a ref count until I say I'm done with this. And what that will do is this cup will stay in existence until I'm actually done with it. So when I go to grab the cup, it's still there. Now when I'm actually really done with the cup, I could release the ref count, then that cup will still be there until the ref count is 0, and then it'll delete it. And that's why in this little drop resource thing, the shader is actually returning a garbage value. It's because it's deleted that object already, but we haven't held a ref counter to it. So we never told the engine that we still want this around, yet we believed it was still around. And Oka's little code in the particle render was keeping track of said ref count. So you saw a number on the top left that was like I saw 8, but it was probably higher, and it just immediately went down to 0, and then that's when you crashed. Since our muzzles on each of the guns are creating a lens flare, so that's 4 guns on the Hornet, we were going down 4 ref counts every time we shot. So if it started at 16 in 4 seconds, we were immediately at 0, deleted it, and you try to access that shader, pointer, crash. So all the simple fix was, once he tracked down that this was crashing, was to tell the shader that we want to add a ref count to the flash. Get out of here, Kami! Little comment, and you can see a little comment that he added here. And so we're making sure that cup's still around until we're done with it. Then we release the ref count, and then it'll get deleted whenever the ref count is 0. From my understanding, Oka was able to track this down just by narrowing it down to what's causing this and how behaviors. So he would get into a ship, shoot, and notice maybe this ship was crashing more than the other. Why? Well, because this particular gun spawns a particular particle that would crash the game. Okay, why is that particle crashing? Oh, it's creating a lens flare. And then from there, he deducted, oh, we're creating the lens flare, but never adding a ref. Problem. Yay, invisible projectiles because shaders are compiling. Come on, shaders. I want to see. There they go. Hey, we're not crashing anymore. Woo! Oh, except I crashed into a ship. There you go. All fixed. Alright, as you saw in the editor, we were crashing because the lens flares weren't keeping a ref count, so they were just getting destroyed, and then someone tried to access memory. Oh my god, we don't exist, crash somewhere far away. You know, the lens flares were added to particles by us because we wanted the artists to have a little bit more fidelity and, you know, special effects, you know, hitting laser or shooting off muzzle flashes to hitting shields and having, like, you know, the lens flare impact, and it looks cool. But we run into fun little problems as we add this tech inside. As you can see, this lens flare thing was an issue even in, you know, the public release. It just hasn't affected you guys yet, and it just started affecting us now, so we decided to fix it. And Oka basically added a ref count, and that basically says, hey, trust me, engine, I am using this flare and do not delete it. Without this, you will create it, and who knows, someone may delete it, and then when you try to access it, holy crap, boom, I just crashed like far away elsewhere. And what made matters worse, this was happening on a separate thread from the main thread. So you were crashing on a completely different thread, and trying to debug that is just a nightmare. Luckily enough, Oka put down some, you know, debug text to see what was going on and realized it was just a simple ref count he had added to the shader. Problem solved, and we're good to go. And maybe this will solve some crashes that you guys have been having. Good, bad?
And now back at the LA office, James had a chance to chat with Gurmuk Basin about ship connecting.
Thanks, boss. I'm here with concept artist Gurmuk Basin. Gurmuk, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Glad to have you here.
What's going on with your eye?
I got into a bar fight, but you should see the other guy.
All right.
You want to get in some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
So question 1 comes from Mongrel1. What do you consider your personal art style? How do you try to incorporate it into your concept work?
I would say my personal art style is more of a simple, clean, less is more type of approach to concept art. My background is actually in architecture, and I have both my bachelor's and master's degrees in architecture and worked in the field for over 6 years. And I made the switch to concept art. But while in architecture, I designed mostly modern style buildings, and you know, it's more of a less is more approach. And I think that really translates over to my concept art. I'm not one to put extra greeble on projects just to fill the blank space. I like to leave the blank space to help tell the story of the ship or whatever I'm working on.
Because it can't be loud all the time. It has to have those softer moments to show the bigger moments.
Exactly. And I like to make sure that everything I design has a purpose and not just put random stuff here and there. You know, every move I make, every design move I make needs to have a reason for it and a story for it. And yeah, so that's how I like to go about my concept work.
So if your background's in architecture, are you looking forward to getting into more environmental stuff, or because you're doing ships right now mostly?
Yeah, no, I mean, as a concept artist, I consider myself a more hard surface and environment artist. Here at Cloud Imperium, I'm doing all hard surface stuff for the ships. I'm designing all the ships, and it relates a lot to architecture. Architecture is a lot about surface and form and space, which is all, you know, concepted and needed for the design of these ships. So it relates a lot to what I'm doing now, and yeah, I'm really grateful to have that background.
All right, next question comes from Azriel Dominov. How did you start your career as a concept artist, and how did you come to work at CIG? Well, kind of already answered that.
Kind of similar, but yeah, so I started as an architectural designer, and around 2010, I kind of stumbled upon concept art through a friend, architectural friend, and I just fell in love with it right away. I really enjoyed seeing what people were creating for other worlds and made-up vehicles, weapons, characters. It was just so much awesome stuff out there, and I knew that that's kind of what I wanted to do with the future of my career. So I worked really hard on making the switch. I worked nights and weekends while I had a full-time job as an architect, working on my entertainment portfolio and just trying to learn and study and get better. And it was actually around 4 years ago that I met David Hobbins at a conference. He was presenting his work, and I was in the crowd, you know, total nerd in the front row, just like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
Everyone's a Hobbins nerd.
Yeah, and I really liked his work and his approach, and I felt like his design aesthetic was really similar to what I, you know, wanted to achieve. And so I struck up with a conversation with him after he presented, and he was really nice. He took a look at my work, gave me some nice advice, and he told me that if I wanted to keep in touch, you know, send him some stuff, get critiques. He gave me his email address, and we started emailing back and forth every once in a while, and then slowly things like grew. We became better friends. We would grab coffee every once in a while, do Skype chats. And
took you under his wing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was really cool of him to do that, and it, you know, basically going from somebody that I didn't know to like a really nice kind of mentor type person.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he gave me the call and was like, "Yes, Cloud Imperium is looking to hire," and because of him, I got the job.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's another one for Hobbins.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Next question. This one comes from Cryops. As someone who has a ton of concept ideas myself, what is your inspiration? And can you sleep at night while working on a concept for a ship?
My inspiration, I think my best inspiration comes from my my daily activities or my life experiences. I've traveled the world. I've been to India, Spain. I used to be a big skateboarder. I'm a big soccer player. So it comes a lot from just going and experiencing life, and having those like key memories that, you know, ignite or you know, awaken your thought while you're trying to start a new project. I do collect a lot of image reference from things like nature or construction vehicles, military vehicles, weapons, all these things before I'm starting a project. But just collecting reference images, you know, does kind of give some insight on what you want to do, but it's more about the experience and going out and experiencing the world and meeting some strange people or skateboarding through Barcelona. You know, these types of things, when you see architecture in person, or you experience a building, or you have a near-death car accident experience type of things, these are the type of things that influence my concept art the most.
Oh, that's crazy. Next question from Roger Wilco. I didn't say that right, but thanks, buddy. Do you have any advice for TNGS or modding teams when it comes to seeking a concept artist willing to work for free or in contingency?
I think if you approach it as willing to work for free, they might be turned off by that. But a good way to go about it is to find a concept artist that you really like. If they're new in their career, you know, straight out of school or even still in school, they'd be more willing to work on a group project that everybody can benefit from. You know, a lot of concept artists are doing concept art in 2D with these nice paintings or sketches, and they really want to see their work in 3D, or they want to see their work animated. They want to see a cool, you know, in-game model. And so if you have a team that's able to produce really high quality work, I'm sure you won't have a hard time getting a concept artist to join you. But you definitely got to show them that the hard work they're going to put in is going to be paid off by the hard work you all are going to put in, with the goal to win the competition or you know, make a cool ship. And then you all can share it on their website. And I think that's reward enough to get some new and up-and-coming amazing concept artists to join your team.
Last question comes from Almighty Joygasm. There's a lot of really interesting names today. How much does a ship you've imagined change by the time it reaches the end of the pipeline, after factoring other design or balance requirements and input from other colleagues? Have any of your dream ships still managed to hold up to your dreams by the end of the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I think here at Cloud Imperium we have a really good pipeline for shipbuilding. In the concept department, we do all our concepts in 3D. I use Maya, for example, and I really like to use 3D to get in to figure out the full design of the ship, make sure the character can comfortably walk through, design the ship from every angle, and really figure things out. And then I pass that ship on down the line, say to the 3D modeling team, And they already have my 3D geometry to work off of. So that's going to help keep a lot of the quality the same, and keep a lot of the concept art intact. They're not like taking a 2D concept artwork and guessing how things look in 3D. They already have a 3D base to build off of. And then they do an amazing job making my concepts look even better. And then when it's passed around to the rest of the team as well, you know, there are some changes that happen, but there's changes that need to be made, and I haven't been disappointed yet. You know, the Constellation Phoenix, which is one of my favorite ships I've worked on so far, is, if you look at the concept art and the finished ship, it's almost, I would say, 90% accurate to what I created, and it just got better than what I made. So, you know, everybody's doing a great job, and I think that we have a really great pipeline, a great team of people working here and making these dream ships come true.
Awesome. Well, I heard you made a special skin for a Mustang.
Yep, that's true.
You want to check that out?
Sure.
All right, roll it. And you can win that by going to the forums and entering the contest. This week's contest to win a signed printout of the ATV skin Mustang is give us your dream Mustang commercial in 1 paragraph or less. We'll choose a winner by next week and announce the winner on ATV next week. Well, Gurmuk, thanks again for coming, man.
You got it, man.
Now let's go to the bar.
All right, let's do it.
Back to you, Sandy.
We really love Gurmuk, that's all I can say. Plans for Pax Australia, what are they? Well, we have quite a few plans, including a fan-inspired barbecue on the Friday, October 31st, Halloween. The actual party that you've all been asking about is on Saturday, November 1st. Starts at 7 p.m., finishes around midnight or 1 a.m., or maybe 2 a.m. if there's a lot of poster signing again, or photo booth or something. Tickets are $20 a pop, and there's 1,400 tickets. The tickets are a little more expensive than Gamescom, only because Australia is a very, very long way to come and see you guys. We're looking forward to it though, but it is a 14-hour flight, so the flights are a little more expensive than going to Germany, believe it or not. Also, we are going to be in the Logitech booth for 4 days again. We have a recruitment booth, and thank you to our volunteers who are going to be running the booth, giving out pamphlets, inspiring new fans to join, showing off part of the game. We hope to have maybe like a looping trailer, some Arena Commander, some other things that are coming, playing in the background. These events wouldn't be possible without you guys, so we thank you very much for making these things happen. Tickets will go on sale tomorrow, Friday, at some staggered times, mostly Australian friendly, as we're assuming that it's mostly Australians going. However, for some Europeans or some Americans or some other parts of the world who would like to go, we hope that everybody who wants to go gets a ticket. Last chance to pick up an M50 or a 350R before the sale ends on Monday. And of course, big surprise, our art sneak peek. Check this out. Be sure to tune in next week when we will be unveiling a new ship concept that is pretty cool, and also a new host, and with hopefully some new artwork rather than Chris Roberts looking over my shoulder making me nervous. So I hope I did all right in this episode. Thank you everybody, and we'll see you next week on Around the Verse.